only thing we have to fear is
in war,
fear itself.
there is no substitute for victory.
Let us never negotiate out of fear.
We stand undivided, forever united, fighting hand in hand for the liberty we've earned, for glory and honor, for our sons and daughters, ever mindful of the lessons we've learned. Let the torch of freedom burn.
You found your way to the intersection of faith and politics. This is WallBuilders Live with David Barton and Rick Green. Thank you for joining us today. Our guest today, we're glad to have him back, Dinesh D'Souza, author of America. New movie out, obviously originally a book, and now a movie that's been released and is a big hit. Dinesh, good to have you back, sir.
Hey, it's wonderful to be on the show.
Hey, you had a huge success with 2016, Obama's America. Now you're responding to, essentially defending America and our story against the revisionist and their story that says America's been an evil instead of a force for good. Why do you think it's time to take these critics on? I mean, we're always going to have critics. Why has it reached the point that we need to respond?
Well, what's happened is that Obama is part of a much larger movement. When he talks about remaking America, he can't do it by himself. And what he's done is he's got this vast progressive coalition of leftists, and what they do is quite beyond politics. They try to take over elementary and secondary education, academia, Hollywood, the media, and they're telling, if you will, a story which presents America as a force for evil in the world. They target two of America's key institutions, entrepreneurship on the one hand and Christianity on the other, and they blame both these forces as being oppressive. So they're telling, if you will, a distorted and rigged history of America to young people, and really teaching young people to hate their own country.
And they've been successful at it. Unfortunately, when they tell that story, these young people don't hear the other side. I found it interesting that in the movie, which I thoroughly enjoyed, I thought you did a great job, but in the movie, you actually allow both sides to speak. You let them tell their side of the story and how they view America, and then you respond to it. That's an unusual approach today.
Yes, what I was able to do, I didn't want to do the Michael Moore thing. What Michael Moore does is he abuses the people on the other side. He doesn't let them speak. He ambushes them. He shows up at Charlton Heston's home and so on. What I did was I approached people on the other side, and some of them are even on the far left. People like the former domestic terrorist Bill Ayers, or the MIT radical Noam Chomsky, Senator Elizabeth Warren. We have Obama and Hillary both in the movie. And in the early section of the film, I let them rave and rant against America. We want to hear their full-throated objections. And then I turn around one by one and I demolish their arguments. So this is a thrilling film because it shows you the huge clash between the anti-Americans. And by the way, these are anti-Americans who live in America. They're not coming from Venezuela or Iran or former Soviet Union. These are people in America who, in some senses, detest what America has stood for in the world.
I also enjoyed the fact, Dinesh, you did not sugarcoat or cherry pick. I mean, you took on the tough ones. You took on the slavery issue, the whole treatment of the Indians. I mean, you go through the whole litany, and like you said, you let them give their full-throated argument, but then you reveal the truth, and it's incredibly powerful. I would hope that we could get all the young people that are being exposed to the leftist ideology to watch this movie.
Well, I think the parents should see it, too, because very often the parents are the ones who can provide the only corrective to what these young people are getting in school and in college. What they're getting is, see, the left goes through American history. They leave out about 80% of it, and then they select a handful of facts that fit their thesis. And what's their thesis? I can call it America the Inexcusable. So they target entrepreneurship. They target Christianity. They make it sound like Christianity is responsible for slavery. Now, the reality of it is that slavery existed all over the world. American Indians had slaves long before Columbus got here. There was slavery all over Africa. The only anti-slavery movements in the world were driven by Christianity, and America is the only country to fight a great war to get rid of slavery. So what really is going on is the left is doing a libel against America. And I'm an immigrant, I'm a Christian, so I come to America to embrace, if you will, what I call the spirit of 1776. And I see that this spirit is under vicious attack from people who want to ultimately change America, remake America, and in order to remake America, they have to unmake the America that's here now.
Well, you mentioned the parents watching it as well. It's almost like the folks that do love America and in their gut know that she's under attack and that she is being transformed before our eyes, don't have the ammunition to respond to all these accusations about how evil we supposedly are. So for them, this is a great movie that really confirms your gut sense that we are actually a good nation, but then gives you the information you need to know that that's true and respond to the critics, which means it's something that everybody needs to see. It's called America. Imagine the world without her. You can find out more at americathemovie.com. Our guest today is Dinesh D'Souza, the author of the book the movie's based on. Stay with us here on WallBuilders Live.
This is David Barton with another moment from America's history. Revisions today often assert that our founding fathers were atheists or agnostics or deists. This charge is not new. In fact, Patrick Henry was even called a deist in his lifetime. Clearly, no one could question his patriotism, but Henry was hurt that they would question his Christianity. Against the charge that he was a deist, Patrick Henry thundered, "Deism, with me, is but another name for vice and depravity. I hear it is said by the deists that I am one of their number, and indeed, that some good people think I am no Christian. This thought gives me much more pain than being called a traitor. Being a Christian is a character which I prize far above all this world has or can boast." Patrick Henry was quick to refute the charge of deism and to declare his open belief as a Christian.
For more information on God's hand in American history, contact WallBuilders at 1-800-8-REBUILD.
Let the torch of freedom burn.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us here on WallBuilders Live. Visit us online at wallbuilders.com and wallbuilderslive.com. Our guest today is Dinesh D'Souza, author of America, Imagine the World Without Her. The movie is now out. It's in theaters right now. You can go to americathemovie.com to find out where it's playing close to you. Dinesh, we were talking about the fact that most people know in their guts something's wrong. They can tell that the nation is being changed dramatically, but they need confirmation that the lie that has been told about America being a force for evil instead of the fact that we were, in fact, a force for good, they need confirmation that is not true. They need the ammunition. They need the information. They need the education. And that's a big part of what this movie does.
The other thing is that 2016 was my first film. This film is made at a completely different level, emotionally, cinematically, in terms of music. You know, there's a group called Cinema Score, which rates audience reaction to movies. Planet of the Apes just got an A- rating for being a good film. America, our film, has an A+ rating, and there are only a small number of films over the past 30 years, films like Titanic, Driving Miss Daisy, The Lion King, and Schindler's List, that have won an A+ rating. So my point is, this is not a movie that you're going to just to get information. It's a thrilling movie. It's a fun movie. And it's very normal for people at the end of the movie to come to their feet and start applauding. And how often do you see that in the theater?
No, you're exactly right. And it's encouraging. That's the other word I would add there, because you would think that a movie that takes on this topic, that if you love America and you love where we came from, you would think a movie taking this on, you would leave depressed. But you do a great job of hitting it head on and then saying, hey, we can turn this around. We can save the nation, but it's us. We've got to do it.
This is the difference with 2016. My last film, 2016, at the end of the movie, people were stunned. They were like, what have we done? We never realized that this is what Obama is really about. And in some sense, it left you in a funk. This film leaves you invigorated, illuminated, inspired. In a way, it helps you fall in love with America all over again. And some of us, we have felt a little bit down about America because we see what Obama and Hillary and the left is doing to this country. This film will give you a shot in the arm and put you back in the fight.
I have to admit, Dinesh, I never expected that one of the most powerful moments in the movie would be Bono from U2. What you did with that segment, I was in tears. I'm not kidding you. I'm not exaggerating. It actually made me, it inspired me to want to defend America more. So we got a guy that's from Ireland that actually expresses what the idea of America is. You did a great job with that part of it. I don't want to reveal.
Well, I appreciate it. I wanted to make a moving film, and what's ironic is that you have a guy born in America, Obama, who's an embodiment of American exceptionalism. His life would not be possible in this way if he was born in any other country. If Obama had been born in Kenya, he'd probably be living in a hut right next to his brother George in the Huruma slum of Nairobi. So his life is made possible in America, yet he doesn't realize that America is exceptional. But foreigners from Tocqueville to Bono and then me as an immigrant, we recognized right away that there is a unique spirit in America that's unique. And it's not just the spirit of opportunity or making money. It is also the spirit of charity and decency. And the ordinary American who does not allow himself to become totally cynical about life, but holds himself or herself up to a higher standard. And that's the Christian legacy in America.
What, your byline on the movie is imagine the world without her. What would the world be like without America?
America has been really a force for decency and goodness in the world. I mean, what other country would defeat Germany and Japan in World War II and then rebuild those nations so that former enemies can now become allies? What other country would, win the Cold War but then be very magnanimous toward the former Soviet Union? What other country, even while bombing Taliban targets after 9/11, would be dropping food to feed Afghan civilians on the enemy side? So this is America. If you took the power that America has now and gave it to any other country, Russia, China, it would be used in a far more heavy-handed and brutal way. And that's something that Obama doesn't seem to realize. He's diminishing American power and allowing many of these other countries to come up, and they still believe in the conquest ethic, the idea of being able to gain land and power by taking it from somebody else.
When you lay out in the movie just how bad it is, frankly, what the leftists are doing in America, you say in the movie, we must be the ones to stop them. I know you can't in just a few minutes here give us a whole strategy on that, but what would you say to those that say, I want to help, but what can I do? How do we stop them? Quick break, and then we'll get Dinesh D'Souza's answer to that question. What can we do? How do we make a difference? How do we respond to what's been happening in America? The movie is called America. Imagine the world without her. The website to find out more, americathemovie.com. Back in a moment with Dinesh D'Souza here on WallBuilders Live.
This is David Barton with another moment from America's history. Christians have always believed that the greatest life-changing experience available to any individual is a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and the testimonies of numerous converts confirm the dramatic changes which often accompany salvation. One such testimony of change comes from founding father Noah Webster, who explained, I was led by a spontaneous impulse to repentance, prayer, and entire submission and surrender of myself to my Maker and Redeemer. I now began to understand and relish many parts of the Scriptures which before appeared mysterious and unintelligible. In short, my view of the Scriptures, of religion, of the whole Christian scheme of salvation, and of God's moral government are very much changed. The power of God to change a life yielded to Him was just as evident at the time of the Founding Fathers as it still is today.
For more information on God's hand in American history, contact WallBuilders at 1-800-8REBUILD.
Let the torch of freedom burn.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us here on WallBuilders Live. Our guest today is Dinesh D'Souza, the author of America, Imagine the World Without Her, and about 15 other books, so you can Google and find out more. And number one, actually, his book, number one right now on Amazon.com. So America, Imagine the World Without Her. Check it out. The movie, you can find out more at americathemovie.com. It's in theaters right now. Go see it while it's in the theater. Before the break, Dinesh, we were talking about the fact that people want to do something. Often that we don't know what to do. We want to take action. We realize that we are in danger of losing our freedoms, and we want to take action to do something about it. And you mentioned in the movie that it is up to us. How can we do something? What can people do to make a difference?
Well, the first step, and it's a small step, but what we're trying to do with the movie is something bigger than a movie. What we want to do is contest the monopoly that the left has in Hollywood. They dominate that institution. We're trying to plant a flag, a Christian flag, a conservative flag, in the media, in Hollywood, and ultimately in education. So I would say please see the movie and see it now. Our website, which is just americathemovie.com, is where you can find out where it's playing, and then tell your friends about it. Because what happens with a film like this, with a conservative and Christian message, is if it succeeds in the theater in its opening run, it expands to more theaters, and then it's more likely to get out into the schools and colleges come the fall. So we're out here to fight the fight on the front line, and it's critical for us to succeed now so we get the expanded influence that helps us get this message in what is otherwise considered to be territory monopolized by the left.
It's a great point, Dinesh, because I know I'm guilty of this. I know a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, this sounds great. I can't wait for it to come out on DVD and I can watch it at home, which is great. But you can have so much more impact and help to make a difference by going to see it in a movie theater right now, because it's almost like voting with your dollars, right? It's going to help the movie reach more people if we'll get folks to go out and see it right now this weekend.
It's that, and also this is a movie that has stunning recreations of the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, the Lincoln-Douglas debate. So you begin to see Tocqueville, who came to America in the 1830s. You begin to see an experience and a feeling about America that you can get in the by sitting in the theater. So this is one of those films, I guess, like Planet of the Apes, that is really fun to see in the theater. The impact is not 2, but 10 times greater than watching it on your television set.
No doubt about it, and I would have never expected. I mean, I went into it thinking documentary, and it did not feel like that. Even the score, man, you really, even the music throughout the movie, you guys went all out. This is, I guess, Jerry Mullen had a lot to do with that.
Well, we have the producer of Minority Report, Hook, Jurassic Park, and Schindler's List as my partner in making this film. So it's a spectacular film. Also, the music, we have huge groups that are performing in the film. We have the country singer Emmylou Harris, the rock group called Imagine Dragons singing a song that they wrote called America. And we end the film with a stunning rock version of the Star Spangled Banner that often has the audience not only clapping, but putting its arm up and singing along with the group that's singing the song.
I watched that. I was actually going to ask you who that was. That was really cool, the way they did that.
Yeah, that group is called Madison Rising, and what we did was they sang the song, but we rented a barge off the Hudson River in New York, and we had them performing on the barge while we filmed from a boat going alongside the barge. So you've got this great feeling of walking and singing through New York City among the American people as the film closes.
Now, you've had a little bit of controversy the last week or so, a big debacle with Costco removing your book from the shelves. What has become of that? Have they put the book back, and why do you think it happened in the first place?
Well, I think what we're seeing is that the left begins to realize that with my book, which is just America, Imagine a World Without Her, and the film of the same title, this is becoming a real threat because I've been writing books for a while now, but the movie is in 1,100 theaters around the country. We made $5 million the last week. We already opened really strong this week. So this is a real threat to them because we're getting our message out to hundreds of thousands of people. And so what they're doing is doing everything to block me. They're trying. The Costco thing was Costco issued an edict to remove my books from all of its stores. A journalist found out about it, and there was such a firestorm of protest, essentially a tsunami of reaction on the Costco website, people walking into Costco and cutting up their cards. And so Costco made a big U-turn. They've decided not only to restore my book, but to order 25,000 more copies of it. So as far as I'm concerned, all's well that ends well, but it's the result of ordinary patriotic Americans standing up and saying, listen, we're not going to put up with this kind of censorship.
Well, and speaking of those ordinary patriotic Americans, they can help spread the word about the movie. The website is americathemovie.com. Folks can do social media. You can get the word out about what's happening, how important the movie is. Everybody in America needs to see it. So you can share that with your friends, but go see it while it's in the theater. Dinesh, you mentioned your other books, man. 25 years ago, you came out with Illiberal Education. I think you were only like 26. I was 19 at the time, and you came and spoke at Young America's Foundation's Conservative Student Conference and inspired me to get involved. So I just wanted you to know those books and the speaking engagements makes a difference. I appreciate what you've done in the past. I guess I want to ask you also, what's next for you? What does Dinesh D'Souza have next on his plate?
Well, the two films I'm thinking about in the future, I do want to make a film for the election year of 2016, and I also want to make a great apologetics film that makes the case for God and Christianity. So those are two projects down the road. At this point, I'm focused on, America, getting the message out. My book is currently #1 on the Amazon bestseller list. In fact, it surpassed Hillary about a week ago. She's dropped to below 100, and I've got the best-selling book in the country. So I'm thrilled to be getting these ideas out there. America is, in some sense, the topic of my political work. I came to this country at the age of 17. I love America. And although I've written books on different topics, America is the unifying topic for a lot of those books. And so I'm thrilled to have a film in the theater and a book out there. And between the two of those, it gives you, as you say, not only intellectual, but emotional conviction to be able to stand up and defend America against her most hateful critics who live in America.
Last question for you, Dinesh. The movie's going to make people want to know more, want to study more, and they're going to ask, where can we get accurate information? You so well document the lies and the distortion of the left and how that's dominated media and education and everything else. So people are wondering, where do I go for good information and for good history?
Well, the wonderful thing is, I would say that the book is a good companion piece to the film, but it's more than that because, of course, in a book you can lay out an argument in more detail and you can give references and direct people to more sources. So I would say go see the film right away. See it now. And then if you like it, which you will, get the book. And the book is, of course, available in Barnes & Noble. It's available in Amazon, Sam's Club, and, hey, it's going to be back in Costco soon.
That's right. Dinesh D'Souza, God bless you, man. Keep up the great work. Encourage everybody to go see the movie. Again, the website, americathemovie.com. Dinesh, thanks for being on with us, sir.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Back in a moment on WallBuilders Live. Have you ever wanted to learn more about the United States Constitution but just felt like, man, the classes are boring, or it's just that old language from 200 years ago, or I don't know where to start? People want to know, but it gets frustrating because you don't know where to look for truth about the Constitution either. Well, we've got a special program for you available now called Constitution Alive with David Barton and Rick Green, and it's actually a teaching done on the Constitution at Independence Hall in the very room where the Constitution was framed. We take you both to Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty in Independence Hall, and to the WallBuilders Library, where David Barton brings the history to life to teach the original intent of our founding fathers. We call it the Quick Start Guide to the Constitution because in just a few hours through these videos, you will learn the Citizen's Guide to America's Constitution. You'll learn what you need to do to help save our constitutional republic. It's fun, it's entertaining, and it's going to inspire you to do your part to preserve freedom for future generations. It's called Constitution Alive with David Barton and Rick Green. You can find out more information on our website now at wallbuilders.com.
Let the torch of freedom burn.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us here on WallBuilders Live. Thanks very much to Dinesh D'Souza for coming on and spending so much time with us today to talk about his movie that's out in theaters right now. It's called America, Imagine the World Without Her. The book is #1 on Amazon, and as Dinesh said going into the break, and now back at Costco. If you hadn't been following that controversy and you're just now joining us, just incredible that a book that was doing that well was removed from the shelves of Costco, and of course we still don't know the actual reasons or what was happening behind the scenes, but the fact that one of their top executives was a big Obama supporter should give us a little bit of a clue. But as Dinesh says, it's ended well. It's back in stores there, so you can get the book and check it out, or you can head to the movie theater this weekend and see it. And it's important to see it while it's in the movie. I really do. I appreciate what Dinesh was saying about the reenactments. We didn't really talk much about those during the interview, but the reenactments that are done in this movie are incredible. The Revolutionary War scenes, the battle scenes, the Lincoln footage, the stories that are told and reenacted are extremely powerful and something to see in the movie theater. The score, the music, everything that was done was just amazing. Really, really well done. So to find out more, check it out, americathemovie.com. It is always, as we talk about a lot here on WallBuilders Live, always very important to vote with your dollars whenever movies like this come out. Whenever Hollywood has an opportunity to see that conservatives and people of faith will vote with their dollars, it encourages them to make more movies that reflect our values and that have good lessons and good information. So this is a chance for you to take action that will have an impact. It's much more than just the 2 hours of you being entertained, which you will be. I promise you the movie is entertaining, And, you know, we talked yesterday about Persecuted that's coming out this weekend, premiering this weekend. You'll be entertained in these movies, so you're going to get your money's worth. But it's more important than that. When these type of movies come out, we have got to vote with our dollars and send the signal that these are the kind of things that Americans want, that these are the kind of values we want to come across the big screen for us and for our families and for our communities. So don't just say, boy, I don't like the movies that are coming out, and oh, I don't like what's going on in the culture, and then do nothing about it. I know it sounds simple. I'm asking you to go see the movies in order to do something about it. Yes, I'm encouraging you to find good media and support it. Make it possible for us to get more good media like that, regardless of whether it's the books, the movies, television, whatever it is. Pick the good stuff and vote with your dollars so that we'll get more of the good stuff. And, of course, underlying all of this is the much more important theme of, can we save our country? Can we restore our constitutional republic? Can we get back to those values that made the nation great? We will not do that, folks, if we lose the argument. Margaret Thatcher was famous for saying, first you win the argument, then you'll be able to win the vote. We have to win the argument first. And one of the things I like about these movies that are coming out, and the two that we've highlighted today and yesterday, is that they make the argument. They dramatically and effectively communicate the argument. Dinesh's movie defends America, defends our values, defends the good that we have been, the force for good that we have been, and then Persecuted defends the First Amendment and shows you in dramatic form what can happen when we allow government to ignore the Constitution. So you will be entertained, but I hope you'll also be encouraged to know we can win if we will fight. Thank you for listening to WallBuilders Live.
We stand undivided forever.